So here we are, ready to go for the NRA Bass Pro Night Race. We're starting on the pole. I think one of my first, if not my very first pole position in NASCAR Heat Evolution, and I only had to spend $2.5 million to get it. What do I mean by that? Well, I bought a 2.9% grip update because I knew a short track, that was where we were going to need some grip. And turns out this car's pretty fast. Now if the driver can just not almost lose control there, as you saw, we will be in really good shape. Now as you can see, Joey Logano is behind us, and it is indeed Joey Logano, as he is not dead in the NASCAR Heat universe. He's just dead in the NASCAR 15 one, and he looks to the inside, couldn't quite get the job done, so we'll continue to hold the lead. Also, my voice should sound better than the last NASCAR 15 video I did on this channel, because I believe the mic issues should be resolved. So, now that all the housekeeping is out of the way, let's talk about Bristol. As you can see, we are leading at the moment quite handily. We're starting to pull away from Mr. Logano. And the key to this thing is going to be lap traffic. Now, I won the spring race. However, that was the day race. I was in a Ford at that time. I did not have as much grip or power or sponsorship requirements. And in the traffic on the last few laps, Jimmy Johnson was able to catch me up. And it was only through a little bit of dirty driving, a little bit of rubbins racing, that I was able to continue in the lead and end up taking my first victory in NASCAR Heat Evolution. And this race, I think again, is going to be determined by how I and the rest of the front runners can get through traffic. As you can see, we're already coming up on the back of the field. We've actually put 1.6 seconds on Joey Logano, so that's good. But as you can see, there's an absolute gaggle of cars just in front. And we're going to have to just see how effectively we can get through the traffic. Now, obviously, Ryan Ellis should be fairly easy to get around here. The other thing I should say is that this is one of the few tracks in NASCAR Heat where it feels like tire wear is something that actually can affect your race. So the tires will wear, particularly the front right tire usually wears pretty hard on this track, so you have to be very careful. As we had to jump on the binders there behind Dibby, and we're just going to have to figure out a way around this little group of cars, perhaps to the inside, as Regan Smith driving very slow there. It looks like he's going to clear out the bottom at least a little bit. Well, okay, four-wheel drift underneath lap traffic. Alright, well, that wasn't exactly how I wanted to do that, but, hey, if it worked, it worked. And we're going to try to very carefully work through lap traffic, because I'm not real interested in damaging the car. That is going to be another thing that's going to ruin my race, is damaging the car. And as you can see, I didn't drive straight very well there, did I? Now Logano has gained up just to 1.5 seconds behind. You have to be so careful in the very slow cars when they're packed together like this, because you have so much more grip.
Hold your line.
And it feels like you can do what I just did, which is drive through the middle of cars with the greatest of ease.
Clear loop. You're all clear.
But you just got to be so patient. I wasn't very patient there, but I know I had to go because Logano's really closing in. But now we've got to clear track for a few laps here, looks like. I should be able to run in the 17-second bracket relatively easily. And most of the AI cars will run high 17s, or high 17s, low 18s. The front runners, that is. These back markers, they run like 19, 20-second laps, which is why it's so difficult to get through them. They're going so bloody slow. But we've got another big group of cars right here. Michael McDowell. But thankfully, it looks like they're going to be a little bit more calm than the last group. Well, I wasn't very calm there. I ran into the back of David Ragan again. Running into the back of these guys is not going to really help me out very much either, because the last thing I need to lose is front end grip, which is already going to be at a premium because of the fact that the tires like to wear very quickly on this track, and David Ragan almost loses it. We're going to take advantage of that and just power slide underneath him. Logano's really taking advantage of this. He's closing in once again. And that's the thing. The first guy through the lap traffic, generally speaking, the leader is that guy. It just always has to deal with this kind of stuff. When the pack is really stuck together, it's very hard to get through them. And then essentially I've cleared the path for Logano because he's just going to get through there almost unencumbered, which is very frustrating for a leader to do. But there we go. Around the outside of Allmendinger. Pretty easy. But again, it should be easy for Logano as well, if not more easy, as we get underneath Annett, who's having a pretty good race right now, running in the mid-20s. And now we've lapped up to 20th place with Stenhouse. And we should have a clear lap here, which will be advantageous for lap time. It looks like Logano's struggling a little bit in the traffic. And now hard on the throttle. Lifting early, just kind of keep the car in the groove. Seems like running the very bottom of the track is the best way around, as it usually is in these NASCAR games. They usually can't get multiple grooves working very well. Generally, you only want to keep to the high line if you're passing cars. Though I did find some success diamonding off the corner in qualifying, as I scraped the wall there like a complete muppet. And can we get underneath Landon Cassill? No, not yet. Have to wait a lap here. Slide the car. This time we'll try to drive around the outside using our superior lap time, and we do clear him.
You're all clear.
And then off into turn 1, which we don't make very well. And Landon Cassill is going to lose it right into me. Right into me. I should have steered where he was, and I did not do that. So Joey Logano is going to take the lead. But we're going to get into him, and we should be able to clear him. We're into turn 1, but nope. Logano takes the lead back. There's all kinds of issues now. Well, stupid. I screwed up trying to pass Landon Cassill. Now we have to really go. The gloves are off now. Stop hitting the brakes, you idiot. I keep hitting the brakes. That's my problem. I keep jamming on the brakes. I'm driving in too hard. If you touch the brakes, you have to like brake in a straight line in this game. So if you're going to brake, you have to brake on the straightaway.
Still there.
Because it will upset the car.
All clear.
Now we're 2.6 behind Logano. Let's see how bad the car is damaged. Like, oh yeah, it's badly damaged. Well, we're going to have to kind of hope for a yellow to repair that. Otherwise, we're just going to have to deal with it. We still got 97 laps to go, so quite a long way. And we also got to hope maybe we can have some fuel mileage over Logano. That might help things just a little bit. So we get around Austin Dillon, hopefully around Austin Dillon at some point. And we're back in the heavy lap traffic because now we've got the 40th, 39th, and 40th place cars here.
Still there.
So we're just going to push Michael Annett through.
Clear out.
Now the car is handling like an absolute truck because of the fact that there's so much damage on it at the moment.
Still there.
And Ryan Ellis, very slow through that corner, still almost trying to spin out.
All clear.
It's going to be very difficult at this point. I tried to, well, screw it. Bye-bye, Keselowski. I think that may bring out the yellow.
There's trouble in turn 2.
Oh, no, I guess it won't. Did I turn yellows off? Landon Cassill didn't bring out a yellow. Brad Keselowski didn't bring out a yellow. what is going on. Well, oh well. If a Penske car is going to win the race, at least they'll have to repair another one. Like an evil supervillain or something. And my progress has been completely hindered by this damage. Not nearly as fast with the car in its current state. And certainly not as fast in traffic. Essentially, I've lost my advantage of the grip. And actually a little bit of horsepower. As you saw, the engine is damaged as well. And it doesn't help that the tires have worn. Get out of my way. I've officially stopped caring about driving clean. But it looks like we are kind of catching up to Logano. Depends how we can get through the traffic here. But we have gone up to, well, we're at 1.8 seconds behind Logano. Right now it's kind of stabilized at 2 seconds. We're just not able to get around Michael Annett either, which is really, really frustrating. Ryan Newman's going to drive very slowly. In fact, Michael Annett made a pass there on Ryan Newman, and we're just going to completely dive it in there. Cannot believe I saved that and made the corner and lapped the cars I needed to lap. That was a bit spectacular, if I may say so myself. Earnhardt is still 2.2 behind, so that's fine. And here's the sad thing, is that the yellow is probably going to come out when we pit. So it's going to be like, everybody's going to get a free stop. People are going to get the wave around and the lucky dog and all this garbage. And I'm going to be able to repair the car, but I'm going to be mired in traffic for the restart. We still got 85 laps to go. We're in the 18-second bracket, which is no bueno considering we were doing 17s earlier. But what is a bit bueno is the fact that you may notice there's a red and white Penske car up here in this pack. And he is getting held up quite badly by Trevor Bayne. Well, I tried to. There are cars just spinning everywhere, and we finally got the yellow. But that was a bit silly. I'm surprised I didn't lose a lap. But regardless, there are only 16 cars now on the lead lap.
The race is going green.
So it's going to be about
There's the green flag.
just driving well here. No more crashing with lap cars. We've done that. We've had that adventure. Now it's time to race. And we just hit the wall anyway. Alright. How bad's the car? Not too bad. Alright. Time to go. Time to go.
Still there. Car high. Hold your line. Clear loop.
That was so close. Looks like Kyle may have saved it. No, he didn't. He's lost it. Probably going to be a yellow. Or maybe it won't be.
There's trouble in turn 3.
He certainly had a whale of a crash, but it doesn't look like it's really going to matter. So we get down to the inside of Clint Boyer and start to move up into the top half of the field.
Clear high.
Definitely was not a clean move there on Kurt Busch, but we had to do it. We had to do it. We had to. We had no choice. I definitely feel like the AI cars fall off after like the first couple laps. They are on their new tires, and I don't really all that much. So that may be something advantageous for me as we get further and further into this run here. We got 5 cars to pass. Hamlin's the first one. Dale Jr. looking to the inside of Joey Logano, and as you can see just how much faster I was through the center of the corner there. We passed Hamlin, finally, despite the fact that I had to run over him to get underneath him. I almost hit the wall. Now we've got pit stops happening, and there's a yellow. That's very interesting. Well, I'm not going to pit, so I'm going to stay out. What? How did I lose a lap? I stayed out.
The race is going green.
Literally just got screwed by the game.
Car high. Okay, that's the halfway mark. Car high.
I lost a lap. How did that happen? Well, how is Kyle Busch back up here? He literally wrecked. Is there 2 Kyle Busches in this race? Well, am I not a lap down? What is going on here? I guess I'm not. Then how am I not the leader? Everybody was pitting.
All clear.
I do not get what just happened. I'm not going to question it, though. That was definitely unnecessary wall contact. How is Hamlin ahead of me? I literally passed him on track. You may remember, because I just did it. But whatever. We'll cram it down into the corner here. Don't know if it's 1 or 2.
Stay high.
I guess it's 2.
Clear loop.
Into the corner.
All clear.
Take the lead from Kevin Harvick.
Car loop.
Now, time to pull away.
All clear.
And then immediately get into lap traffic and probably look stupid. But oh well. Looks like we've definitely got a good run here. Buescher's still in the pits. I'm getting wrecked earlier. So sorry, Chris. But you were a noble sacrifice so that I could get the car repaired. To a certain extent, at least. I think the car is still a little bit damaged, but certainly not as much as it was previously. Down into the 3rd corner, I think. Yeah, because I see the commitment cone, which means that was the 4th corner, which means that's the front straightaway, and we've set a 17-second lap. This is very good, exactly where we need to be. Got a little too close to the apron on that one, though. So we've got to be much more cautious of that. And then there's some more cars coming into the pits there. There's Eric Jones and Trevor Bayne. Those are lap cars, so I don't have to really worry about them. Labonte in the pits. DiBenedetto, or not in the pits, but he's falling off the pace. DiBenedetto was in the pits. Danica's in the pits, so cars peeling off. And
Car ahead is pitting.
yes, Labonte is actually going into the pits. So what I said about 3 laps earlier was actually true, as well as looks like Stenhouse is coming into the pits. So cars pitting under the green, which is an interesting strategy, certainly. I wouldn't say it's the best strategy, especially at Bristol. Generally, you want to pit under yellows if you can at all avoid it. Pitting under green, that is. So we get a little bit high off of turn 4. And we're finally back to Ryan Ellis. And we immediately run into Ryan Ellis for absolutely no reason other than the fact that I suck. But okay, now retired Scott. Can we get to him? The Iowa Speedway Master. And the original Intimidator, because he was driving the 3 car. As we get around Brad Keselowski. Stenhouse comes back out onto the track. Thankfully does not LePage Keselowski. And we're back to Landon Cassill. So hopefully Landon does not cause me any problems on this one. Though I suspect he's going to be hard to get around, as he was the last time. But hopefully I have enough tire left in the car that I can lap him without too much problem. And see, I got into the wall, so things are starting to go sour.
Still there.
I ran Landon Cassill, so we're gonna side draft off of Landon Cassill. That's not even a thing that happens on a short track. I guess it kind of does. There's probably a very minute advantage to be gained by side drafting on like Bristol, but it's so small that like turning the wheel slightly less would also net that advantage. And look, Landon Cassill back underneath. Cannot get away from him unless he wrecks in front of me. in which case
Dillon.
then he goes away. This time we finally trapped him behind lap cars, so that's good. Bye-bye, Landon Cassill. Please stay out of my hair now. And just look at this heavy traffic. Several cars going different speeds.
Stay low.
All sorts of different performance abilities here as we got into the back of Greg Biffle. Now we're going to drive around the outside of several lap cars. Or try to, anyway. There's a car 18th next to a car 22nd. And you know they're on different laps. And then the 36th place car. And then the 26th place car. And the 35th place car. So just everybody is all over the map with where they are in the field. And we've got 3 seconds on Dale Jr., which is good. Casey Kane is in 3rd. Kevin Harvick is in 4th. So that's a lot of Chevys. We are holding the door open for the Toyotas at the moment. Hamlin is 5.4 seconds back, the next best Toyota. And of course, I don't know where Logano is. He would theoretically be the best Ford still. But God only knows where he is at this moment. And we finally come up behind Ryan Newman again, who was another car who was very hard to pass earlier in the race. You know, get down on the brakes there. Couldn't quite clear him. Out next to the wall a little bit. Dive to the inside. And wow, that was an interesting move because I just barely clipped the Benedetto as we got into the corner. Just a little bit of a love tap on Stewart, a little bit more. He got up into the wall, but screw it. 5.4 ahead of Kevin Harvick. Dale Jr. has actually fallen back 2 seconds, which is interesting to see. Wonder if he got spun or hit the wall or just got screwed in lap traffic, which is, you know, fairly common at this track for sure. You saw it happen to me a couple times earlier in this race. We've already got 40 laps to go. So this race is flying by.
Stay low.
So we dive underneath Labonte.
All clear.
Now come up behind Dillon. Can we get around him now? Diving to the inside.
All clear.
Just a little bit of brakes. But it's all we needed. And back onto the back straightaway. Lift off early. Get the car into the corner. And we're finally, I should have said already back to Ryan Ellis. The guy who seems to be the slowest, despite the fact that he is not actually last on track as far as I'm aware. No, he's running 33rd, so he's got 7 cars behind him. Exactly who those 7 are, I couldn't begin to tell you, because I haven't seen them. Whoa, okay. Had to jam on the brakes and immediately the car spun out. That's realistic. That's definitely something I'd like to see them fix in Heat 2, is that it's the fact that the brakes are like way too effective and at the same time not effective at all. I think it may be down to a bad physics engine, but I don't know for sure whether it's that is the case. But certainly the cars pinging off the walls and pinging off each other and not being able to make side contact on a straightaway in this game certainly points to what I just said being the case. So we're trying to catch up to Kurt Busch, who is in 16th place. This is probably going to be to put him a first lap behind the race. And maybe Kyle Larson as well. Whoa, again, look how much the brakes spun the car out when I just tapped him. And I did just tap them. It was not a slam situation.
Still there.
Well, now see, we're getting trapped. This is always the problem with Bristol, is you get up behind these guys, you can just run slightly close to your pace. And suddenly it's problems. And hey, I guess we're side by side with cars in the straight and we didn't spin out. Probably because they both had me pinned and there was absolutely no way I could ping off them and spin and crash. 32 laps to go. How many laps of fuel? 12? Our radiator's looking pretty bad. Get down into turn 3 once again. Now we're looking at Casey Mears, who's in 37th place, so he is worse than Ryan Ellis at this moment. That's one of the cars. Ooh, as I got a little close to the apron there. Probably should not have done that. Underneath mirrors.
Still there. All clear.
Relatively easy. There's a big group of cars just out in front. But we probably won't even catch them before the end of the tire and fuel stint here. And Trevor Bayne, will we be able to pass Trevor Bayne relatively easy? No. So we're going to get up into the wall. And we'll just run him out of the way. Bye-bye, Trevor Bayne. You made yourself too hard to pass. So I just ran into you. Because that's the Bristol way, baby. And now we're coming up behind all these cars that we passed on the restart. They went 4 wide there for just a second. They must be convinced it's NASCAR 15. You may have noticed I touched the brakes because the car immediately started to spin out. So let's not use the brakes anymore. No more brakes. None. No brakes, Bristol. Roll credits. I said the title of the video. I came up with the title of the video while I was recording the video. What a novel concept. So we get down underneath Stenhouse. And now we are in the thick soup, that is a spin up in front. Or at least somebody got turned or almost turned. But no caution. And this is a lot of cars. So this is going to be a thing and a half to pass. Underneath Kyle Busch. I'm trying to get underneath Kyle Busch. Which we do. Out of Clint Boyer. Yeah, I'm on my way there, Clint. Oh darn, trying to win here at Bristol. It's Bristol, baby.
Stay low. Still there.
Yeah. Get out of my way. Almost ran into Eric Jones. Thankfully did not. And now Jimmy the Juggernaut Johnson. Can we get around him? To the inside.
The yellow's out.
And we've got a yellow. So we'll be able to pit once again under the yellow. We'll repair the car, even though that's probably a bad idea, but whatever. And go back to green. Yeah, restarting in 5th. Kind of like I suspected. But I was probably going to lose those positions anyway, whether or not I repaired the car.
The race is going green.
So I figured
There's the green flag.
better just to repair the car, right? You're going to lose the positions anyway. Have a hot rod for the end.
Clear high.
And that's exactly what we're going to do. You saw I almost got spun out there. Thankfully did not.
You're all clear.
So now we've got Kane and Harvick to battle here for the victory.
Car high. Clear low.
We got underneath Kane already. And now we set our sights on Harvick, who I think is probably the strongest car at this point in the race. It was Logano earlier, but Logano must have got screwed by some strategy or something. To the inside. Battle for the lead. And to the inside we go. Had to jam on the brakes there, but whatever. And by the brakes, I mean the wall. But we got around Harvick. And now we're going to set sail. But as you guys probably know, there's more than likely going to be traffic here. There's also always the possibility that there will be a yellow or some form of silliness to end this one. So right now, just got to gain as much ground as I can in clean air. And then once we get to the traffic, all bets are going to be off. Saw 17.6, almost my fastest lap of the race, full stop. So obviously, we're taking no prisoners right now. I already see retired Scott. And we've got 12 laps to go. An eternity as we see smoke. That is their fire. No smoke, no fire. Well, there was smoke, but there wasn't a fire. And it looks like the field's spread out a little bit, at least at the back. So that may help me out just slightly as we get through turn number 2. And turn 3, kind of entered low there. It doesn't look like it really hurt my lap time too much, and I just saw the pack of cars just out in front. I'm fearing for how this one's going to turn out. It's probably going to not turn out too well. But we'll have to wait and see. I could sweep Bristol. That would be something that would be very good for the NASCAR Heat Evolution Let's Play. To be able to sweep Bristol and certainly solidify even more at this point our place in the chase. It would also get us some serious money if we can pull it off, because we've pretty much achieved all the sponsorship requirements, I believe.
Still there. Clear high.
And we're just gotta be so careful now.
Car high. You're all clear.
I've got to be aggressive and at the same time careful. No undue risks, though.
Still there.
There's cars trying to wreck. I'm trying to wreck. Thankfully, Brad Keselowski is so slow that he's actually
still there.
kind of slowed everybody down.
All clear.
And that will allow me to catch this other pack. Now, which lane do you think is going to go? I think it's going to be the one with Kenseth in it, but I can't even get down there to follow him.
Still there.
And DiBenedetto, well, what's causing this is DiBenedetto and Blaney, who are very slow. And they're both kind of holding this proceeding up a little bit. But thankfully, Kenseth came into the pits, helped thin the herd out a little bit.
Still there.
Now underneath Jimmy Johnson, who wrecked to win this race last time. I just wrecked Chase Elliott, but oh well, we got him out of the way. We're all the way up to 7th in terms of lapping cars, which is kind of amazing. 4 laps to go, 2.5 seconds to Harvick. And I don't know if Harvick is going to be able to get through that mess of cars, but again, I've just got to keep going because I don't know what Harvick's capabilities are in traffic. We never actually really raced Harvick through the traffic.
Still there.
So we got into Buescher, probably didn't need to race him that hard. Oh well, we're 2.9 ahead of Harvick. 3.2. Oh, it's Hamlin now. So yeah, Harvick is not a good traffic racer apparently, because he got passed. As they probably are all sitting in 2 lines of 2, just like this little group up here is. And where are we going to go to avoid this absolute mess? Well, we're going to let McMurray by because he is trying to wreck me to get back on the lead lap. So we'll observe that for sure. Well, it looks like we'll be able to get underneath Biffle for sure.
Still there.
And now, should be coming out of the final corner, which we are, and to the line. We win and sweep Bristol for the year. Wow! That is a pretty cool achievement, I must say. So, a victory at the Bristol Motor Speedway. How cool is that? Again, sweeping the 2 Bristol races, both the day and the night race. Chris Buescher was the final car. As you can see, Joey Logano, the outside pole sitter, ended up 8th, 1 lap behind the race. Clearly, somewhere his strategy got screwed up. But this is going to be good, because it's going to be good for the Moolah, which, as you can see, is way up at the top, so we're getting a lot of money. There's our primary sponsorship. We got the most laps led, which is 59. We got a top 10, which is 40. We got a top 5, which is 85. And we got a top 3, which is $156,000, for a total payday of nearly $800,000. Woo! That is a good payday, that is for sure. In terms of the points, we've gained another win. Or no, just 2 wins on the or 3 wins. There we go. 3 wins on the season, which puts us 13th in the overall point standings. But obviously, we're going to be higher in the chase because of our win tally, which is going to be good. So let's head back to the race shop, see if there's anything else that needs our priority. But first, there is the trophy. The NRA Bristol Bass Pro night race. Very nice. So from Bristol, we're going to go back to Michigan, which is generally not the best track in the world for NASCAR Heat Evolution. Casey Kane thinks he's starting to see a few fans wearing my gear. No longer just facing the crowd, huh? Well, I've won 3 races in this season. I'm in the chase. Where are you, Casey? Oh, wait, he's in the chase now. Can't make Casey Kane jokes anymore because he actually won a race. It's annoying. All right. Well, that was NASCAR Heat Evolution from Bristol. Hope to see you at Michigan. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been David Land on YouTube, and we'll see you in the next video.